Hello and welcome to a new video here on my channel here at commaikEnglish. Right now I'm working on my pool and my outdoor kitchen. I've created different paths, and here, brand new, a garden house. It's going to be placed right here. From this garden house, I later want to make a bird or small animal house. Guinea pigs are supposed to live there. Rabbits, canaries, cockatiels and whatever else might find a home there. The whole thing will be complemented by an aviary that will extend all the way up to this path here in front. As I build this garden house and the aviary, I'll take you along and I hope you'll stick around. We're about to start with the first part. Have fun! Until recently, this area here was still a slope. I have filled the whole thing with gabions, in some places up to 2 meters high. This is where the new garden house will be built. I've leveled the ground and already set up the side walls for the foundation slab. Soon, the large concrete pump will arrive and pour a concrete foundation here. The whole thing will be reinforced with steel rebar. In the middle, here you can already see a conduit, which will later bring power cables and the like into this house. Because besides lighting, the animals will also need a heat lamp in winter. The distribution of the electricity I solved through my irrigation boxes. I have conduits here, but also water connections for my lawn irrigation, raised bed irrigation, and also for the pool. And there are several outdoor water outlets. I have one right here. You can see the next one back there. And also, just here around the corner, there is a direct supply to the garden house. The garden house is a prefabricated house, specifically a log house. This house has a side length of 3 by 3 meters and a flat roof. Windows and doors complete the whole thing and let in enough light for the animals. Into the house, the pallet has already been delivered. As you can see, it's very manageable. It's not actually that big. The 2 foundations were put in a few days ago. The foundation for the garden kitchen is also now finished. I covered the whole thing with a sheet so that the concrete doesn't dry out too quickly. The concrete will certainly still take a few weeks to fully cure and dry out, but today I'm already going to start building the garden house. The sheet has been removed from the foundation floor and I have thoroughly swept the surface once. I've also already laid out my tools ready. Not much is needed for the assembly according to the instructions. A ladder, a spirit level, wooden stick, hammer, cordless screwdriver, various bits, and of course a good saw must not be missing either. To protect the base, the lower timbers from moisture coming up from the ground, I will stick on a repair tape, this bitumen tape. I already did this with my other garden shed and I have to say, I am very satisfied with it. The wood has lasted for over 10 years without any moisture damage occurring. Now it's time to unpack the big package. Let's see what it looks like inside. The package is packed relatively well. However, I can already see some damage, cracks in the wood. I expected the overall quality to be noticeably better, but well, since it is a natural product, that kind of thing does happen occasionally. Along with a warranty certificate, there was also a package included with clear assembly instructions. Various materials, specialized roof sealing, and plenty of sturdy screws and brackets were included. I carefully spread out all of the contents of the package here on the ground to make building the garden shed more efficient. As you can see, there are all sorts of boards in various thicknesses, in various lengths. When assembling, I have to be meticulous to avoid mixing up the boards or accidentally installing the wrong ones. The doors are already pre-assembled, as are the glazed side walls. good day's work, the garden shed is standing. I still need to attach the trim on the sides, which will cover these screws. The doors are installed, and my child has already set up the rabbit cage, guinea pig cage, and the bird area inside. I had to make some adjustments to the roof because originally it only consists of this particle board. But as soon as it gets wet, it swells up and expands noticeably. That's not quality to me. For this reason, I put these OSB boards on top to give the roof a more stable surface, some initial stability. So now I can actually walk around up there, which was absolutely out of the question before. In the original plan, a standard roofing felt is used here with the recommendation to seal everything with a self-adhesive roofing membrane. The side verge flashings and similar parts are originally designed to be made of wood, but I won't do it that way because I want the whole thing to last a bit longer, and this spruce wood will be permanently exposed to moisture in the roof area. I don't think that it will last very long. I've already bought the metal sheets, they're ready to go. This sheet goes on the underside, that's where the drip edge for the water is, so when the rainwater is supposed to run off into the gutter, and on the sides it looks like this. Of course, the gutter has to be attached underneath this sheet beforehand. Here I have a simple system, relatively inexpensive, but so far absolutely convincing in terms of quality. I bought it. The gutter is screwed directly onto a piece of wood using this bracket. In my case, however, that doesn't work since my roof has an overhang. So I also got myself these brackets from the hardware store. I'll attach these brackets to the roof, and then I can adjust the height of this bracket because I have this perforated strip here, this larger one. And the whole thing basically looks like this, as you can see here. And that means this way around would be correct, like this on the roof. Now I'll first assemble all the brackets together with this metal piece here, and I'll go ahead and attach them to the roof, roughly align them, and then I can add and align the top sheet as well, so that later the water will flow directly into the gutter. Once that's done, I can then build up the sides to the left and right with the side sheets, continuing to build everything further upwards before finally adding the front panel at the end. In total, all sides will then be protected from rainwater. The water will drain off to the back, and then once all the sheets are in place, are installed, I can glue a proper bitumen membrane in the middle. As I have done so many times before, I chose a slate-coated fabric reinforced bitumen membrane. It does cost a bit more, but the quality really makes it worth it. I installed the gutter brackets at intervals of 50 centimeters from each other. At the outer ends, it's 10 centimeters from the edge each. Now I can place the eaves flashing in position and adjust the depth. For this, I'll temporarily put the gutter in place already. Then I have my angle, my reference point, where I can see that the water running off here flows nicely into the gutter. I can adjust that here, and then the flashing is simply screwed onto the OSB board with sheet metal screws. Of course, the eaves flashings are not long enough to cover the entire roof surface in one piece. That's why I have two of them. Because of the edge at the front of the flashing, the drip edge, I can't slide the two flashings directly into each other because that would create a bulge here. For this reason, that's why I shortened this second flashing, so that I have an overlap of a good 10 to 15 centimeters. And down here, I simply cut the whole thing off with an angle grinder. Of course, you can also do it with a high quality pair of pin snips. Now, I carefully slide this piece under the other flashing, and you can see it gently fits together nicely here, can be screwed on again at the top, and is sealed. I installed the eaves flashings all around the roof. Each piece overlaps the next from top to bottom so that the water can run off easily without flowing onto the roof itself, onto the wood. Since the flashings weren't long enough, I sometimes shortened them with the angle grinder and pushed them together, or as you see here, simply bent them together with pliers and slid them into each other. Whether that actually looks better, I don't know. For my purposes, it's sufficient. But I know a plumber would definitely do a much nicer job. Now I'll cut the sheets to size, overlapping from this edge here to the edge on the other side, and then weld the roofing membranes onto the roof piece by piece, also from bottom to top. And then the whole thing should be sealed. Before I weld the roofing membranes onto the subfloor with the torch, I have aligned the angle and the straightness flush with the eaves flashing, and also centered the overhangs on the left and right. Now the whole thing is rolled back a bit to the side and first heated with the torch on one side, then unrolled, bonded, and then I roll back the other side and weld it on as well, piece by piece. Once that's done, the second layer is applied, which, as you can see here, overlaps the first layer by about 10 centimeters. This way, the water can always run off downwards without the risk of water flowing under the layer towards the wood. I've now finished the roof of the garden shed. The side flashing sheets are screwed on and overlapping, and up here I've applied the welded membrane everywhere. At the bottom it was the entire membrane, and then you just continue in a staggered pattern. Up here I pieced together the leftovers. At the top I then patched together the remaining pieces. In some spots the tar came through because I held the flame in one place for too long. It was on it, but that doesn't matter. It's a roof, no one has any business up here, and what's important is that it's watertight, and I assume it is. Now I'll take care of the gutter, because it needs to be aligned back here, or rather, first fully installed. Also, the interior and of course the exterior area of the aviary, which will be developed here. As you can see, some beams and some foundations I have already put in place, already set. But I'll show you that in the next video. If you don't want to miss any of this, then subscribe to my channel and you'll automatically get a notification as soon as a new video of mine goes online. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button. It supports my channel. I would really appreciate it. And also take a look at the description and the links I've put there for you at this point. Thank you very much for watching. As always, feel free to leave questions and comments below the video. See you next time. Bye.